Hi, I'm Lindsay, and this is Kinda Healthy Podcast. This week, my guest is my friend Terence. He's an active guy, so I wanted to ask him, what's that all about? But no, really, I wanted to talk with him to see what he had to say about fitness and challenging himself. Here's my conversation with Terence. Hey! People usually can't hear me at first. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yo.
Okay.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you.
Cool. I'm in the basement, so don't
Yeah, it
mind
looks cool.
all unfinished,
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a
Yeah,
style you're going for.
right,
So, hey, thanks for coming on today.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah. So, I asked you to come on because I know you did the competitive lifting,
hmm
but what's your routine like right now? We can get into that in a minute.
Okay, cool. So right now, I'm really not into any like competitions. As far as like powerlifting goes, I kind of let it go. You know what I mean? Just due to like me kind of hurting myself, injuring myself, and so right now, my main passion, like the thing I really love, was running in the first place. So it's more right now a lot of running, and maybe I lift once or twice a week. So about you say about 5 or 6 days on, like 1 or 2 days off,
Right.
during the week. Yeah.
So, what made you interested in trying the lifting?
Um, Actually, it was a friend of mine. So he did this was about 2017. So he did Muay Thai, kickboxing and all, and he was competing, fighting. And we used to be at his apartment and he had the gym there and he just got me into lifting. He's like, yeah, you should start lifting, get a little stronger, this and that. So I went with him a few times, started lifting. Then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go on my own. And I was just like, most people typically are with like learning the lift. I was a little nervous and hesitant to like go to the gym by myself. So,
Right.
I would just watch a bunch of like YouTube videos like all the time. Like this is the proper way to lift and like practice in the mirror, at home, trying to figure out how to really, do it. And I finally built up the courage. And the first gym I like actually went to was Planet Fitness. A lot of people clown Planet Fitness and talk shit about Planet Fitness, like, that's not a real gym. They don't have like free weights, which if you don't know what free weights are, it's like,
Right. But I guess it
barbell.
has more to do with what you're actually doing in it, not so much the gym itself, right?
Right. It's just that, that whole stigma around like Planet Fitness, like it's not a real gym. But that's where I started. I was like, it's cheap, it's $10 a month, easy for me. So, I just started doing a little routine. I would just Google stuff. Most of my like learning has been from like just going on YouTube, reading articles, or just downloading spreadsheets and learning that way. So I had, looked up some stuff and made a little workout up. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? What I call push pull legs. So if anybody's like lifted weights, they heard of that, split push pull legs. So I
Hmm.
would go in the gym, do these little workouts for like hour and a half, 2 hours for I say about, yeah, three or four times a week. At that time I was running, but I kind of let running go just so I could focus on lifting. And then I was lifting more. I got into like watching like bodybuilding a little bit, so I was watching that. People compete, and then I stumbled across powerlifting too. It was a YouTuber. Like if anybody knows powerlifting, this is a guy named Russ Swole. It's a younger guy, like in his mid 20s, but he's got a big following. Probably, I want to say over at least 200,000 YouTube subscribers. So he's
Wow.
got a really big, and he's competed on the international level as far as powerlifting, and like I think got like second place at Worlds. So I will watch him and watch different people, and I was like, hey, this is something I might be interested in. So I was I was at Planet Fitness, so I was like, can't be at Planet Fitness because they don't have free weights. So I moved over to like a powerlifting gym, and I like found like a spreadsheet, saw a little program that would work for me. I really wasn't into, and I never really been into like the trainer thing. It probably could help me progress, but I just like to do things and learn them on my own.
Right.
So I found like a little workout that would work for me, little program, and I had like light and heavy days. So I was focusing on benching, deadlift, and squatting, because those are the three like main lifts you compete in. So I did. I literally went in. This was after a year like Planet Fitness, and then I went in 2018 to a nice gym with like platforms for deadlifting and a lot of the squat racks and all that was suited for like anybody that's gonna be powerlifting or like taking bodybuilding and all that seriously. So a year later, like this was 2018, I literally saw a meet in December, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna sign up for that." And I've never had any. Now, mind you, I had no experience with like free weights at all.
Right.
So what I did, I would just study or take notes, online researching on, looking at blogs and people writing about different things and looking at proper lifting technique. And I went in there and I went at it. I trained for about, let me see, about 4 or 5 months, and then I went for that meet. Um, and I'd say it was a good experience. After the meet, I actually went into, it was like January of 2018, and I was still like, okay, I gotta understand the first meet. I like it. I'm gonna keep going, and I put on a little bit more weight. That was like one thing that kind of I was hesitant to do. I
Right.
was afraid to like put on that mass, because when you're powerlifting, you need as much mass as you can pack on, and then it's actually better when you're like smaller. So me being only barely what, I'm almost 5'6". I say like 5'5 3/4", right? So, and I was in a weight class which was 72 kg, so it's like 163 pounds. So I was a little underweight in that class. So ideally, and at that time I was about, I say I was, when I started off, I was like not even 155.
Wow.
So so I got up to about 160, 160. Oh, I say on the heavier side, heavier days at the max, maybe like 166 or something like that. But I just didn't feel comfortable at that weight, because in the back
Right.
of my mind, I still had that like, I like
That
to run.
lean, like runners
Yeah, I
type of
want
physique
yeah,
in mind.
yeah, and
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to keep. But you know what? I was like, hey, I want to really get with this, and I said I'm just gonna put on, just keep the weight on. And I was progressing. Yeah, my lifts went up. I think when I first ever benched, I only could bench like maybe like, I went from, in that little short span, I say between what, about 8 months, I went from like 180 to like 235. So and
Wow.
then, yeah, and then my deadlift, I never deadlifted at all. So it went from nothing to up to 430, 430 pound deadlift. And then my squat went from nothing, because I didn't squat before that, to 350. So those were my max lifts. So I was looking to improve on those, and then hopefully like go to, like, they have regional meets, go to a regional meet, and then like qualify for like everybody. There's the federation that I was in is called the IPF, and in the US it's a USAPL. So that's like the most prestigious federation for powerlifting, and that's what I was competing in. And my goal was to like make it to nationals, or try to break some like state record.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
the funny thing about it was like I was lifting, I was progressing, getting stronger, and then I was just like, you know what? I really miss running, and I wanted, you know what? I don't care. It got to the point where I didn't care anymore about like, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, because I was going to say, were you afraid if you were running that maybe you wouldn't be, I don't know, bulking up your muscles as much? Or like, how
Right.
did
So
you
if I
think the
had to,
running was going to affect you?
so if you're gonna run, it's gonna, the fatigue from running, because that's a whole body workout. Running, I'm gonna be wearing my legs out, so I'm not gonna be able to go into the gym and
Oh, I
squat
see.
and deadlift or even bench at my full potential. So that's where I was like pushing and pulling. I'm like, what do I really want to do?
Mm.
So that's when I came up with, I'm just going to lift, because I like love lifting, and then I'm going to run. So I'm gonna do both, and I won't be the greatest at either one, but I have like that
Right.
that balance. you know,
Yeah.
I might not be the strongest, but I have endurance.
Right.
So yeah, I just wanted to, and that's what I still do today. more so running, but I still lift, and everything I learned from powerlifting, I still implement, in my workouts.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, you didn't rush into the lifting. You did your homework and it seemed like
Yeah,
made sure to know what you were doing. So it wasn't like a snap decision, but at the same time, I guess it is really easy to get kind of like tunnel vision with something where you can see that you can improve and start working towards that, but like almost unintentionally leaving behind something you actually like. And so,
right. Right, yeah, it was that thing. Like in the back of my mind, I always knew like I love running. I still love lifting, but running has a little edge over lifting for me. And I just, like I said, I didn't like the feeling of, I would go lift and I'd be stronger than I go out for a run. I'm like, man, like I'm
did you
way
feel
slower.
heavier? Yeah. Was it
Yeah,
harder to run at that?
yeah, my endurance went down. Yeah, it was definitely harder to run. If you're gonna put on more mass, you're gonna be slower, and you're not, your endurance is gonna go down. You're moving more weight.
Right.
So yeah, I definitely felt it. Even like so now, technically in like runners terms, I'm still a little more muscular than an average like distance runner. So I could still technically like cut down more for in running terms. Like I'm not saying like the everyday run. I'm talking about like if I was like some like world class or elite type runner. But
Right.
yeah, for sure. But it's it's cool because I mean I even like with COVID-19 and all, I haven't been able to get any races in, but I did like a few races like a year back. So that's fun. I want to get back into that, and maybe I'll do it like another powerlifting meet coming up one time soon. Maybe just like because you don't have to do every single the three main lifts that they judge you on. You can do like what they call push and pull, where you can just bench and deadlift.
Oh,
So I might do something like that because really with squats, which I really need to get my self checked out, like my sciatic nerve. I think
yeah.
it's what bothers me. So it really hurts more with squats. So I think I would like kind of cut that out and just maybe focus on deadlifting and like benching
And
if I do it.
you don't really feel that affect you so much with the running, your sciatic nerve?
Not so much. Only if because I do got into trail running about like
Oh,
4 or 5 months ago. So if I'm going like up a steep incline and it's kind of at a weird angle, maybe if I'm putting a lot of pressure on my left side, then I'll feel it a little bit, but not as nearly as much as when I was lifting. Like I would be sometimes where I would just have to like lay out, or I could be in the car and it was just that sharp pain. It
right.
was sometimes it was like it was too much, but that's on me because I really didn't get it checked out like I should have, and I'm gonna work on that really soon though.
Yeah, I would bet a
But
lot of
yeah,
people are guilty of that,
oh
not
yeah,
getting something
oh
checked out.
for sure. I mean, it's a lot of it's that with powerlifting though, it can be dangerous if you don't know what you're doing because you're working with a lot of weight. Because with power, see when you're lifting regularly, you're focused. You're not focused on just maximizing strength like 100%. With powerlifting, you just focus on getting stronger. So with regular lifting, you might do something where okay, I'm gonna go in and when I bench, I'm gonna do like a 4 by 12, 4 sets of 12 reps or something like that. But when you're when it's at 4 by 12, that's not your maximum weight you can push. That might be like 50 or 60%, maybe 70 or something like that. But when you're powerlifting, you're going to improve your 1 rep max. So if you
Oh,
don't know, so if you don't know what you're doing, if that weight's heavy, you say you're benching, you don't have that much experience, and you testing the 1 rep max, you don't have a spot or anything, you could hurt yourself. You know what I mean? You can injure
right.
yourself. You're deadlifting, squatting, all that weight. That is serious. So you got to be really careful when you are powerlifting, or if you, I say if you're brand new to it, yeah, you want to have somebody at least watch you, or if somebody's in the gym with you to spot you.
Would you say that that injury came from the lifting only? Did you ever feel like you had any back issues before that, or do you think it just
Nah,
came
it
from the
definitely came
training?
from it came from lifting. Yeah,
Oh,
it definitely came from lifting. But that's the thing too. Like even with my fault, not doing it all by yourself is not a good thing because say maybe if I would have had somebody like there with me or had when you're learning, that's a good time because it probably wouldn't have this injury like this. or this nagging pain that I had for a while. So the best thing to do is to have somebody guide you, or at least to go to the gym with you, especially when you're learning.
So they could watch your form or.
Yeah, just so watch your form, critique it, uh, help you out. Like if like to me, one of the most technical, but just in my opinion, lifts was a deadlift. It was a hard thing for me to learn, and that's
Hmm.
how like I feel like I've hurt myself doing the deadlift. But because what it is, they have different types of deadlifting. So you have like a conventional deadlift where feet together and you're lifting, and you have sumo, which is spread, your legs are spread apart. They're both technical. The conventional is going to put more strain on your back. The sumo is not. It's going to take the strain off your back. It's going to be a little bit more quad dominant too.
Oh.
So, but with that being said, I was doing more of a conventional deadlift. That's the thing I like. And so if you're not lifting right with both of them, you're going to strain your back because it's you're pulling the weight off the ground, but you're really pushing. You're driving through your legs. You know,
Oh, okay. So
you're
yeah,
pushing
it's
off the
not so
ground.
much it's
Yeah,
not in the upper body like it looks like. You're
yeah,
really
because
like
you're
forcing
pushing
it.
off the ground. If
Yeah.
you think about you pushing against the ground and pulling yourself up, you only should be using your lower back once you get to like maybe like near your hips, and then you locking out and squeeze your glutes, squeeze your butt together.
Hmm.
And that's where like I think a lot of people I look in the gym, they fail at with that because they're just grabbing the bar and they're just literally like pulling it up and they're just using all back. They're just like that. And
Yeah,
it shouldn't be like that.
yikes.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I said, that things like that when you squat, just to have the right form to brace your core, not to be tight. You don't want to be loose when you're squatting. With benching, you want to be locked in, retract your scapula. You want to be tight. You don't want to be loose with all that. So having somebody there to watch that and who knows what they're doing is key, because you don't want to take those bad habits with you and keep training with those bad habits like that.
Right. Yeah, because the movements look differently from the outside than they do
Yeah,
on the inside when you actually know what you're supposed to be using to make that
right.
lift happen.
Exactly. Yeah, it can get technical. I mean, and then like I said, with powerlifting, it's all about it's leverages too. You know what I mean? It's a leverage game. Um, I have long arms, so I was good with deadlifting. Long arms aren't good with bench pressing. You know what I mean?
Why is
So
that?
because think about it, the longer your arms are, the longer the bar has to travel.
Oh, so really just literally that,
Yeah,
that detail. Yeah,
yeah,
the bar
yeah.
has to go further.
Yeah. I mean, it's like with long arms, I can pull off the ground. I don't have to bend as low, and
Right.
then my arms are so long. When I lock out, I'm already there. So that's why I think the deadlift is my stronger lift. If you have long femurs, that's not the best for squatting.
Yeah.
You can't get in a certain position that somebody else can. You're gonna have to spread your legs farther. You have more of a lean to you, forward lean. It's all about your body mechanics and how you're built. Like the best lifters are like small and compact.
Right.
Like the guy I was talking about, Russell's name's Russell Orhe. He's like about my height, right? So
Hmm.
right now I'm only about 145. That's about it. So he's about 5'5", 5'6", and he walks around at almost 200 pounds.
Wow.
And that's just genetics and just the way he's built. But people like that who are compact and can pack all that muscle in a small frame, those are usually the best lifters. You don't too much see a lot of people with like a basketball frame who are
Right.
good like power lifters. It's all about those leverages and and that size. This is like any other sport. Just like back again with basketball, the taller guys, guys and girls are good at that. But if you're smaller, you're like short. That's not going to work. Well, in powerlifting, if you're short and big, that is going to work. That's what you need to be. That's
Right.
that's ideal. You know what I mean? It's about how much muscle you can pack on. So for me, ideally, uh, looking in hindsight, if I actually want to be like really maximize my strength, I would have to go up into like compete at almost I would have to be about 180. I would have to put on some weight.
Right.
Yeah, which over time, as you lift more, that body fat will turn into muscle. I'll still have, higher body fat percentage, but that's just something I wouldn't. I was like, do I want to be that big? I've never been that big in my life. The biggest I've been is like 175, just when I was doing nothing.
Right.
So I just couldn't picture myself like that, and I was just thinking about, like I said, getting back and running. I was like, I definitely won't be running at
Right.
all. No cardio involved with that. Yeah.
How did you pack on all that muscle when you were doing that?
Well, are you talking about powerlifting?
Yeah.
Or I mean, it was just eating. All it is, I mean, basically to pack on to. I just say to start off to pack on weight. It's just eating. It's going into a surplus with calories, your caloric intake. So I would just simply like have a MyFitnessPal, and I would track how much I eat on a normal day already, like
Right.
without like adjusting anything, and then I would just put in boom, boom, boom. Okay, I want to be up to this weight, and then I would look at the my intake with calories would be higher. So what I would do is just eat more. But you don't want to just eat junk. You want to eat
Right.
quality food. You're not just going to eat like, oh, okay, I got to get 1,000 more calories. Let me just go get some pizza or something. Or
Right. Yeah. You're not doing
you
a
want to eat.
movie.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to. You don't want to just stuff
That's
yourself with
all they ever
anything.
say is I ate a bunch of donuts and I ate a bunch of
Yeah.
cheeseburgers.
No, you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? That's not the healthiest thing to do. You're gonna get some weight and like high cholesterol, blood pressure, and all that to go along with it. You don't want to do that. So, but yeah, I would just eat more, and then I will focus on like my protein intake. There's so many different numbers out there. Some people say, oh, 80% of your weight, this and that. I just kind of did what I felt. That's a lot of things with eating and all the nutrition. I kind of did what I felt was good for me. I didn't have like a nutrition Bible or certain things that you got to do it this way. I just did simply what was good for me. And like I said, I up my protein, and then like on days you work out, with carbs for energy, I would increase my carbohydrate intake. So I did that, and I continued to just live. And I think with powerlifting, some people will focus on those 3 lifts, and they'll just go home. Some people are literally just, today's bench day, and I'm just gonna bench, and then I'm gonna go home. But I would do like accessory movements, which
Yeah.
some people do that too. So like if I'm going to say I'm going to deadlift, since I would combine that with like some back movements, because the deadlift involves the back and the hamstrings, and I would do other things to maybe some leg curls or some rolls, seated rolls, some pull ups, things like that to work the muscles that are going to work with the deadlift. With bench pressing, I would just go after I bench press. I do some dumbbell chest press, shoulder raises. You do some push-ups, anything like that that's going to help with the bench press. With squatting, I would do maybe like some lunges. Because squatting is it works the posterior chain, but it also, I mean, it's quad heavy. So I do like lunges, um, maybe some leg extensions, different things like that, just to strengthen the quads. So I'd always implement those things. But while doing that too, you're toning the rest of the body and kind of sculpting. And so yeah, that's the way I did it. I really just kind of ate, and I just made sure I maintained lifting, not just doing the 3 lifts, but also adding other exercises to it. So I wouldn't just
Right.
go
So
in
it's
there.
basically just doing the numbers and figuring it out. It's like a
Yeah,
project, right?
it's definitely like a project. You gotta you definitely, if you want to be good at it, you gotta make a plan. So I had like a notebook, and I would put stuff on my phone, and I would have all the days of the month planned out, and what I was gonna be doing, and then I would have like a workout. I would name them like maybe, okay, this is bench day, but this week I'm gonna do workout A, and next week I'll do workout B. After I bench. So I would do things like that and combine them, or like deadlifts. I got an A workout and a B workout, and then I would do that I got used to that for so long, I could just not even use like that. I would just say, I'm going to deadlift today, and what I do now, like today I'm a deadlift, and then I already know what automatically just from repetition, what kind of accessory exercises I'm gonna do with it. I like to group everything together like that. So. Yeah.
Right. So it seems like with the lifting, it seems like it's good for people who, want a lot of order and, have a direction that they're going with stuff. But I almost feel like running seems like a freer, more, do it as you feel type of exercise. Or do you treat running kind of the same way? Are you meeting little goals or giving yourself challenges as you go?
So yeah, I do. I guess it could depend on the person too. With the lifting, you definitely want to have a plan. If you're trying to take it seriously, you got to have some kind of plan. You just can't go in there and just randomly work out. You
Right.
know, I'm
Yeah,
a
and
big
like you
yeah,
said about the accessory exercises, working the accessory muscles, that seems really
yeah,
dangerous to not incorporate those. I mean,
yeah.
if
I
you're
mean, yeah,
looking at
it's
it as,
yeah,
yeah, as like
it,
a mechanical thing, you would think that you would, add in all the different
right,
parts.
right, exactly. Yeah, if you got your deadlifting, you got weak glutes. Well, you need to strengthen your glutes. You need to isolate them. You know, your squat, you got weak quads. You need to do some isolation movements, some exercises to strengthen those quads too. Which don't get me wrong with that compound movements are first. You should like if you go to the gym, you should never just go in like sometimes I see people and all they're doing is just like curls, or they're just doing little all these technical cable exercises, which I never hardly even do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really never even use the cables or anything, but people are doing all this, and you can tell they never really lifted. You shouldn't start with that. You should start with like compound movements, which the compound movements are going to work more than one body part.
Right.
You want to be in there working more than one body part. You don't want to be focused on my bicep, or just doing 1,000 crunches. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Because you're not going to see with the abs, you're not going to see them anyway until you cut when you're dieting.
Right.
When you're in a caloric deficit. And then you'll see that. So as many crunches as you can do is not going to matter. It might actually build muscle under there and push your stomach out even more a little
Oh
bit.
God, I never thought of that.
Yeah, because it's building the muscle. It's making it thicker.
Yeah,
So if
but
it's
if
making
you're
it
not,
thicker, if you're
oh
not,
no, if you're not getting lean on top of it, it's
yeah,
giving yourself a good, strong, thick belly.
gut. Yeah, you're giving yourself a good gut, yo. But back to the running. With me, is I have I just like having a routine. Right now, like I said again, with COVID, I kind of more lax because I don't have anything planned. And every race I try to sign up for has been canceled. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I just kind of free. But yeah, you can freely run. Just say, hey, I'm gonna go out here and run today, like 2 miles or whatever. And how when I started, I would just run a route that was like 3 or 4 miles, and I would just do that route, and then I was like, I'm gonna find another route, and that was just my thing. I was just running routes and looking like, oh, 5 miles. I ran 5 miles, or oh wow, I ran 6 or 7 miles. It was never
Right.
really it was just like a thing I did every other day. I was like, I'm gonna run every other day, and that was it. That was my method. And after that, because I started running in I say like I ran a little bit in high school, but after that I started running not until shoot, it was 2014, 2014. Yeah, sorry. And then I got serious about it in like 2018, 2018. But once I got more serious, I started doing runs. Okay, I'm gonna do like a threshold run. I'm gonna go to the track some days. And I'm gonna sprint work on my speed. Then I'm gonna have a long run, and then I have like an easy run.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of do it now. I just do the easy day where it's gonna be like uh I was beat up. I just want to get out there and get some miles in. It could be a mile, a half a mile, 5 miles, but it's not gonna be something that's gonna like gas me out. It's something where
Right.
I could go with somebody, I could stop and just be like this and talk. That'd
Mm-hmm.
be like an easy run. Then you got like a tempo, like a threshold run. It's something where, well, I say tempo first. It would be near like for me, it was like a near my 5K pay. Well, it really depends on. It can get really deep. It depends on what type of race you're doing. But the
Right.
tempo run probably would be like 70, 80% of your max, and then like a threshold, you'd be like right at the threshold to where you almost like going all out for that distance. So and then I would do like I said those, and then the track. I would go on the track and do some sprints to try to combine all that, to have a good like race day.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I did a 5K once.
Oh yeah. How
Yeah,
you like it?
yeah. I trained for it for months, and then the night
Oh
before I
yeah.
went out drinking. I stayed out all night.
No.
But I still got up early and did it the next day. And I did pretty good. But
That's cool.
I did it with my mom, and I was just like, I didn't hold back.
Yeah.
I just ran away from her. I had to wait for her to finish.
That's cool. See, now you can train for another one, right?
Yeah. I did I've been trying to get back into it.
Yeah.
I have such a hard time finding the will to do it after work.
Yeah.
But
Right.
changing from doing early mornings, that helps some. But
For sure, yeah. Like running is I mean, like even with lifting, running is not for everybody. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't like it all the time. I just, I mean, I love it, but when I say I don't like it all the time, it's not every day you're gonna go out there and it's gonna be like exciting. I just,
Right.
especially with trail running, I just like being in nature and the scenery and all. Cause like when I'm on a trail, you're gonna run much slower. Your
Yeah.
pace is because it's the elevation game is crazy. It's like over like 1,000 feet.
Mhm.
Sometimes it gets crazy, so you're not gonna be going as fast. So I like to just take the time to relax and just enjoy nature. Um,
Right.
but running is definitely it's definitely helped me out. Even with like on a mental health standpoint, you can really free your mind, clear your head, especially if you're running. Uh, it's like devoid of people, of like you're not around a lot of people. You can really get to think.
Right.
And you're talking to yourself. You're like figuring out things. It's really good for clarity. For me at least.
When did you first start running?
Very, very well. I first started running was
Like
like,
how'd you figure out you liked that? Were you playing tag one day and all of a sudden, oh, there he
nah. So
goes?
like, I first started running was the first time I remember running was like competing wise was when I was like about eight or nine. They had those school little track meets where they
Right.
had like they got the little meets and they had like the little kickball thing, how far you kick the kickball and all these little events. And I remember like running, and I was like, was I like last or second to last or something? But I liked it. But I remember I always started off too fast. And
Oh,
then
and burnt yourself out too
yeah,
early?
because I was running like a mid distance race, which was like a 400 meters, and I would gas out, or
Right.
even like half a mile too. I would do that and I would gas out. But when I got to like eighth grade was when I was like, oh, I think I can be pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
because I was winning. We do all the little track meets at school in middle school, and I would win the 400. I would win, and then we did a little meet where all the schools in the district came, and I won that.
Oh,
I won
fun.
that. So yeah, I was like I like track, and at that time I was playing football too because I played football from when I was 10 all the way to like when I was 15. But I was end up just quitting football. I was like forget football because the position I played I was too small. I played like inside linebacker like when I was
Uh-huh.
younger, and I've been this size since I was like I say 13. I've been this
Right.
size, so I didn't grow anymore. So I was
Me
about
either.
100 pounds.
My little
Right, right.
brother went past me a
Yeah,
long time ago.
check that out. So it's like I needed to gain like 100 pounds and probably maybe get about 5 more inches on me, and that wasn't happening. So I left that behind, and I ran track. And freshman year I was pretty good. I was getting beat a lot because I was a freshman on varsity. So I
Right.
was yeah, I was definitely not winning uh like freshman year. Yeah, we did the district meeting. I remember. I guess we got like third place in our heat, but it was like sixth place overall. you know. But the thing that messed me up because I was a knucklehead, so like I didn't like sophomore year. I couldn't run sophomore year. From getting like I got suspended for fighting like right
Right.
around the turn of the semester. So if you're great, you weren't. I was ineligible. Then
Mm.
junior year, still a knucklehead. I went out for the team, but I got expelled. So I got
Oh.
yeah. So I got like my ass was out of there. So yeah, got into trouble again, got expelled. Came back senior year,
Hmm.
just wasn't even motivated. Like it was just like
Right.
whatever. I was just doing my thing, skipping school, like whatever. And then um, kind of depressed. I was like, man, I'm not really. I got taken off relays, and then I was like, whatever. And I remember like we had one meet, and told my coach we had like it was 4x1 relay, and I think my split was like 10-4 or whatever, 10.4 seconds on my 100-meter leg, and I was like, well, my split is like 10-4. Can I get back on on a, like, I guess you call it like the A squad or the first team? And
Hmm.
he was like, nah, you haven't been doing enough. So I was like, dang. Um, and after that, it was kind of was like, screw it. I was
Right.
done with running. In the back of my mind, I felt like I didn't accomplish what I needed to. Because even to backtrack, when I was after freshman year, I was really
Hmm.
serious. I used to have my grandmother like take me to the track, like in the
Yeah.
summertime, and I would run around the track and train. And I was myself, and people play football, like, oh, you out here by yourself running, or I had got this. People would know me like, oh, he's fast. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But the fast forward anyway. Oh no, the backtrack again. I ran summer track, which was cool when I was 14. We did good with that. We went out of town to Oklahoma, but my relay team didn't pay, so I couldn't run.
Hmm.
So like you get all these things that like dings, or things that I couldn't accomplish. Um, that really like haunted me up
Right.
until the point where I was like, I still had an itch to compete or to do something, and that's one of the reasons I still like love running and even competing. Because
Right.
I always been a competitor, and I felt like I never maximized my potential at a younger age. So
Right.
with me lifting and training and running, that's just my way of like, making sure I take advantage of what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's such a good way to look at it. That's true because a lot of people don't, take what they have for granted and
for
don't try
sure.
to maximize what they have when they have it, you know?
Right. You know, for sure. Yeah, that's what I like. Every day I do it, and I look at myself for motivation. You know what I mean? I always try to like. I'm not a fan in like really competing with people. Of course, like
Right.
if I'm a runner like a 5K or something, I go on there and look at last year's results. Like, I wonder what place I can come in. I wonder what I can. But like
Right.
at the end of the day, I always look. Hey, well, at this around this time this year, I was running this time. I want to get a faster time now, or I want to be at a better pace, or I did that now. Now let me go for this. Like right now, we're running the most I've run at a time is like 13 and a half miles. So that's the next goal is to surpass that. Like, okay,
Wow.
let's do like 15-mile runs because eventually I want to run a half marathon. I mean, I could run a half marathon right now, but I want to run it with a good time.
Right.
I want to do it. I don't like to do stuff just to be doing it, especially if I'm gonna
Yeah.
pay money to do it. Yeah, I'm not paying money to like have a lackluster performance. I want to if I'm gonna pay and sign up for this race, or if I'm gonna
Yeah.
pay and do this powerlifting meet, I want to make sure I'm not embarrassing myself, not in front of people, but just for me personally, internally. Like I want to work for it and do good. You know.
Right.
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, those are the kind of activities I like too, where I'm basically just competing against myself. And I
for
like to
sure.
like give myself, little, goals to meet otherwise. I mean, I don't really have any interest in going against somebody else because it almost
Right.
seems like, I don't know, you don't have all the stuff they have and they don't have all the stuff you have. So it's not really a
Exactly.
fair fight.
Yeah,
It's just kind of comes down to some conditions you don't have control over.
for sure. Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Because yeah, you don't want to. I mean, in life, period, you don't want to just look at somebody else and base what you're doing off of them. I mean, you
Right.
don't want to follow in anybody else's footsteps. You want to, create your way, create your own lane and your own path. I mean, I do it with everything I do. I like to be an individual. If I'm gonna be like, if I'm going to be at, if I'm running, I'm going to like what I have on down to everything. I want to be unique to me. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
don't want anybody. Like I'm just so much of an individual. I don't want anybody to have the same pair of shoes as me, the socks, anything. I want to stand
Right.
out as me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? At any given time. So that's just how I am with the whole situation. It's all about individuality. For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, more people should focus on embracing themselves more because,
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be really damaging mentally to always be looking outside yourself and feeling not enough, you know?
For sure. Yeah, I really believe that's a detriment to your health. You know, especially I say with youth too. They're always looking towards someone or
Right.
a certain image to have. But it's always good to take ideas from people, but you still have to craft them and make them suitable for yourself. You don't want to just be a carbon copy of somebody else.
Right.
At all. Like, yeah, don't do that. Like, I hate that. Don't be a copycat. You know what I mean? Yeah,
So you
be true to
never
you.
you never
Mhm.
went through a phase or a period where you did do that, or did you just always know that you wanted to be yourself?
I never went to a fake. I would look to people for inspiration,
Right.
but I never had a thing. I can't remember saying I want to be just like that person.
Right.
Never. Like, if anything, maybe it's just the way I am, but I always look like I want to be different from that person, or if I want to be better than that person.
Right.
Not so
Yeah.
much I want to be like that person,
Right.
or creating an image of myself based off of this other person. I might take an idea, oh, I like that, how they did that, or I like how they did that, but I want to make it this for me. You know what I mean? I even like even with like workout. Like when I'm doing a workout plan, I'll watch a video or watch something or listen to somebody or get advice from people. And I never been a firm believer in anybody telling me, do this way, and that's the way it has to be done. No, I'm gonna tweak it. I'm gonna do. Uh, I tell you to do this and this and this. Do this many sets and reps, and you got to do it like this way. Nah, if I don't feel like it, you know, and that might not be suitable for everybody, but that's for me. Like I have to like put my own spin on things, and I think that's why too. Maybe like with trainers and coaches like that, I really don't do too much of that.
Hmm.
I really like to just I hear what people are saying, and I just kind of process it and dissect it the
Right.
way I feel. And to me, it's worked for me so far. I mean
Hmm.
everything as far as like uh physically and like mentally, yeah, you know.
Wow. So a really nice message came out of all of that.
For sure, for sure.
So
Yeah.
if anybody was looking to get into an activity that they feel like when they're looking at it, they want to try it,
Hmm.
what would your advice be about that? Maybe like dipping your toes into it and all of that.
I guess it depends on how technical the activity is. I would
Hmm.
say, I mean, if you just want to go for a run,
Hmm.
just go. I would say the first thing is to do would be to like set a date or set a concrete time or place when you're gonna do it.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm gonna do this on this day, and if it's something that you really have to focus and like that's gonna take time, you want to research it. I say research. If you got somebody that's around you that knows about it, then reach out to them. But really, do your research and learn before you just dive into something head first. If it's really deep, I mean, if it's something like I just want to go outside to the park and I'm not used to being in the park, just go for
Right.
it. Like
Just
go to
go
the
to the
park.
park.
Yeah, just go to the park. But if it's something like I want to kayak,
Yeah.
I've never done it. Or maybe you need to go and go with somebody who's done it before, and
Right.
take your time, with that. But the best, after all of that, the best experience is really just to experience it, to go. I mean, to go do it. That's the way you're gonna really gain anything. Is to go out there and try. I was when I went to the gym first, I would look around. and like, what am I doing? Like, are these
Right.
people? Am I looking crazy? Am I looking silly? Then I just had to say like F that, man. Just go and do the shit. Just go and live, and do your thing. Um, I really didn't have that problem with like running,
Yeah.
but lifting was one of those things that was so outside of my comfort zone that I just had to just go in there and do it, So yeah, just main thing, really just go for it. But at the same time, do your research. So have a balance. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah,
Yeah. Don't
yeah,
hold yourself back. And if you think you like something, give it a try. And don't say,
right.
oh, I'd like to do that. And then never
Yeah,
really go through with
yeah.
it.
Just go for it. Even with like, I think trail running, I just looked it up, bought some shoes, trail running shoes, and I just went out there. And like when I go on trails I've never been on, I don't even take my phone. I just have my Garmin watch. It's like a 4-year-old model. It's 4 years old, so it doesn't like I can't talk or anything on there. All it does is show me my mileage and what time it is. So I just go. I'm like, you know what? If I get lost on the route, whatever, man, I'm gonna find my
Yeah.
way back.
Sprain your ankle or something
it,
like that.
it, I just like I go for it,
You take
whatever.
a flare with you just in case.
I just go for it, like whatever, I ran off a trail and then like, all right, where am I at? And then I went back and I go back and it's getting dark. I'm like, oh, what's going on?
Right.
But yeah, you just gotta go for it. Yeah, like I never had a I never had a time in life with anything that I went for on any level that I actually regret. You know what I
Right.
mean? I don't regret anything. Um, I look back at some things and I go like, damn, I could have done that better. Yeah, but do I regret it? No, because I'm pretty damn happy with who I am today, who I'm growing into. So, and that's how I look
Right. Yeah. And sometimes it takes those little failures just to push you to try to
at
do a
it.
little bit better in the future,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah, yeah. Like the mindset like you can take. The mindset I take is I'm anticipating the failure.
Mm-hmm.
Like the failure will be, it would be it's a positive because you're gonna fail so many more times than you're gonna win. Like,
Yeah.
when you finally win, you go, it's like a ladder. It's like you fail, you know, but then as you fail and you step up though. And then
Mm-hmm.
you fail and then you go all the way up, right? But then you go back down, but it's still not as low as you were in the first place.
Right.
So you still progressing.
Right. Because you're still learning and you're still
Yeah,
getting
you're
better out
still
of
yeah,
practice.
yeah.
So it might be slow,
Exactly.
but
Yeah,
it'll get you
yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. We should have a shirt that says like failure is winning.
Right.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, that's what life is about for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for talking to me today and sharing your story. It was really nice to hear how, just to keep trying and do your best and, things will work out, maybe not exactly the way you want when you want it, but,
For sure.
as long as you keep trying, things
Oh
will
yeah,
happen.
for sure. Oh yeah, it was a nice little talk. Even
Yeah.
motivated myself.
Oh,
There we go. Yeah.
good.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed the episode. See you next week.